"Don't you dare touch my children." Rebecca's scream cut through the diner like a knife. Her body slammed between the triplets and the man in the black coat. The man who just said there were buyers willing to pay premium prices for match sets of 7-year-old triplets, $25. That's all she had left in the world, $25 to feed 3 starving children on Christmas Eve. She never expected a monster would follow her inside. She never expected what happened next. The door exploded open. 6 Hell's Angels walked in. Leather, chains, scars, and fury. The giant with ice blue eyes locked onto the man threatening her babies. Everything changed. Rebecca's fingers were completely numb. She'd stopped feeling them about 4 blocks ago. She didn't care. All she could think about was the crumpled 20 and the 5 singles in her coat pocket. $25. That was everything. Everything left in the world. "Mama, my feet hurt." Sophia's voice was small, tired. Rebecca looked down at her youngest triplet, 7 years old, thin pink jacket with a broken zipper, shoes that didn't fit right anymore, because kids grow and money doesn't stretch far enough to keep up. "I know, baby. We're almost there. You said that 3 blocks ago." Lucas, always the logical one, always keeping count. Maya said nothing. She just held Rebecca's hand tighter and kept walking, the oldest by 4 minutes. And somehow she already understood things her siblings didn't. Understood that Mama was lying. Understood they didn't have almost anything. Understood that walking 18 blocks through Chicago snow on Christmas Eve meant they couldn't afford the bus. Rebecca pushed open the diner door. Heat rushed over them like a wave. Her frozen skin burned. The smell hit her neck. Coffee, bacon, pancakes, everything warm and safe and impossible. Christmas music played from somewhere. Families filled the booths. A little boy was drowning his pancakes in syrup while his mother laughed. A father was cutting up a waffle for his daughter. Normal people doing normal things with their normal lives. Rebecca felt like a ghost walking through someone else's dream. "Welcome to Roses, honey. Sit anywhere you'd like." The waitress was maybe 60. Grey hair pulled back, tired eyes that had seen too much. Her name tag said Rosa. "Thank you." Rebecca's voice came out rough. She guided the triplets toward the back corner. The booth against the wall. The one where people wouldn't stare too long at the woman with 3 kids in threadbare coats. They slid in. The vinyl was warm. Sophia sighed with actual relief. "Mama, look." Lucas pointed across the diner. "That boy has real bacon. Like a whole plate of it. And French toast." Maya added quietly, "with strawberries." Rebecca's throat closed. She used to make them French toast every Sunday morning. Daniel would fry the bacon, while she whisked the eggs and cinnamon. The triplets would fight over who got the first piece with the most powdered sugar. That was before the fire. Before Daniel ran into that burning building to save a little girl he'd never met. Before 3 weeks in the ICU, watching him die by inches. Before the hospital bills that buried them deeper than any grave. Rosa appeared with 4 menus. "Take your time, sweetheart." Rebecca opened the menu. Her hands started shaking before she even saw the prices. Soup of the day with bread, $7.99. Cheapest thing on the menu. 1 bowl, 1 piece of bread, for people. She did the math. $7.9 on plus tax. Maybe $8.50 total. She'd have $16 left. $16 to last until the electricity got shut off. Until the landlord finally made good on his eviction threat. Until Victor Moretti came to collect what Daniel had borrowed. "Mama." Maya's hand touched hers. "You're shaking." "I'm just cold, baby." "Mama, can we get the chicken fingers?" Sophia's eyes were so hopeful, it physically hurt to look at them. $9.99. Or the grilled cheese. Lucas suggested. "I don't need fries." $8.50. Rebecca felt her eyes getting wet. She blinked hard, fast. The same fake smile she'd been wearing for 10 months. The same one she wore when she told them Daddy wasn't coming home. The same one she wore when she packed their entire life into garbage bags because they lost the house. "I think we should share the soup," she said brightly. "It'll be like an adventure. We can each take turns with the spoon." The triplets looked at each other. That twin no. Triplet thing. They did that silent conversation in a language only they understood. Okay, Mama, Maya said softly. Rebecca raised her hand. Excuse me, we're ready. Rosa walked over, pen poised. What'll it be? One soup, one bread. Rosa's pen stopped. She looked at Rebecca, then at the three children, then back at Rebecca. Just one for all four of you. Rebecca's face burned. Yes, please. And to drink. Water is fine. Something changed in Rose's face. Something soft. Something painful. Honey, I could maybe just the soup, please? Rosa nodded slowly and walked away. Sophia tugged Rebecca's sleeve. Mama, there's three of us. How do we share one bowl? You three share. I already ate. No, you didn't. Maya's voice was quiet, but certain. You said you weren't hungry this morning. You said that yesterday, too. You said it the day before. 7 years old, and already too smart. Already seeing through every lie. I'll eat later, baby. I promise. The door slammed open. Cold wind blasted through the diner. Napkins flew off tables. Every conversation stopped. Rebecca looked up. Her blood turned to ice. 3 men walked in. The first one, expensive black coat, slicked back hair, face like a knife. His eyes swept the diner with the cold calculation of a predator assessing prey. Behind him, 2 men in suits that barely contained their muscle, bulges under their jackets that meant guns. Victor Moretti. No, Rebecca whispered. No, not here. Maya saw her face. Mama, what's wrong? Shh. Rebecca grabbed all 3 children, pulled them close against her. Don't look at them. But Moretti's eyes had already found her. Of course they had. He always found her. Always knew where to look. He smiled. Started walking toward their booth. Rosa appeared with the soup and bread. Set it down quickly. Here you go. Hun. She saw where Rebecca was looking. Saw Moretti approaching. Her face went pale. She backed away fast. Mrs. Torres. Moretti's voice was silk over steel. What a pleasant surprise. Rebecca stood, positioned herself between Moretti and the children. Please, not tonight. Not on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Moretti looked around the diner. Theatrical. How perfect. The season of giving. And you owe me so much. I told you I'll get it. I just need more time. Time. He laughed. Soft. Dangerous. You've had 10 months of time. Mrs. Torres, 10 months since your husband's unfortunate passing. Rebecca's hands balled into fists. Don't you talk about Daniel. Don't you dare. Daniel borrowed $7,500 from me. Did you know that? 2 months before he died playing hero. The words hit like a physical blow. Rebecca knew. God, she knew. Found out 3 weeks after the funeral, when Moretti showed up at her door with papers Daniel had signed. He was trying to pay for the triplets' medical checkups, Rebecca said. Her voice cracked. We'd fallen behind on everything. He was desperate. And now you're desperate. Moretti stepped closer. His cologne was expensive. Everything about him screamed money built on other people's suffering. With interest. You now owe me $12,000. Someone at a nearby table gasped. I don't have it. Rebecca whispered. I lost my job. We lost our house. I have nothing. Not nothing. Moretti looked past her directly at the triplets. Rebecca's blood froze. Beautiful children, Moretti said. Triplets. Yes. All the same age. 7 years old, I believe. Don't. Rebecca's voice was barely human. Do you know what makes triplets valuable? Mrs. Torres. Moretti leaned closer. They're rare. Matched sets. Same DNA. Same features. Same age. There are very specific international buyers who pay premium prices for that kind of inventory. Maya whimpered. Lucas grabbed his sister's hands. Something broke inside Rebecca. Something that had been held together by threads and prayer and sheer force of will. Her hand moved before her brain caught up. The slap echoed through the entire diner. Moretti's head snapped to the side. A red mark bloomed on his cheek. His expression went from surprise to pure rage in half a second. You stupid woman. His voice dropped to a hiss. Do you have any idea what you just did? One of his enforcers stepped forward, hand inside his jacket. I suggest you remove that hand before I remove your arm. Everyone froze. The voice came from the door, deep, rough, like gravel grinding in a cement mixer. Rebecca turned. 6 men stood just inside the diner. Not men, giants. All of them wore black leather jackets with patches Rebecca couldn't read from this distance. Chains hung from their belts. Tattoos covered their hands, necks, faces, beards thick and grey, arms like tree trunks. The one who'd spoken was the biggest, 6'5" at least, shoulders like a truck, silver beard, a scar running from his eyebrow to his jaw, eyes so blue they looked like chips of ice. Hell's Angels. The words blazed across their backs. The diner went dead silent. Moretti turned slowly. This is a private conversation. The big biker's voice didn't rise. Didn't need to. Looked like a threat to me. Looked like you just threatened children. You don't know what you're interfering with. I know exactly what I'm interfering with. The biker walked forward, each step measured, deliberate. His boots echoed on the floor. Lone shark threatening a widow, threatening kids on Christmas Eve. He stopped 5 feet from Moretti. That about cover it. Moretti's jaw tightened. This woman owes me money. How much? 12,000. And if she doesn't pay, Moretti smiled, then we explore alternative payment methods. The biker's expression didn't change, but something shifted in the air. Something dangerous. Those alternative methods, the biker said quietly, they involve those children. That's none of your answer the question. Silence. Long. Heavy. Then Moretti made his mistake. He smiled. There are people who pay very good money for healthy children, especially matched sets. The biker moved so fast Rebecca almost missed it. 1 second he was standing 5 feet away. The next his hand was wrapped around Moretti's throat, lifting him 6 in off the ground. Listen very carefully, the biker said. His voice was conversational, terrifying. You're going to walk out of this diner, get in your car, drive away, and forget this woman and her children exist. Moretti gasped, his face turning red. You don't know who I am. I know exactly what you are. The biker leaned closer. And if you ever come near this family again, they'll find pieces of you in 4 different states. We're clear. He dropped Moretti. The lone shark stumbled, caught himself, gasping for air. His enforcers had their hands inside their jackets now, but they weren't moving. They were looking at the other bikers, really looking, seeing something that made them pause. These weren't random thugs. These were killers, professional, experienced. This isn't over, Moretti said to Rebecca. His voice was hoarse. I always collect, not from her, the biker said. Not anymore. Moretti stared at him, some calculation happening behind his eyes. Then he turned and walked toward the door. His enforcers followed at the door. He stopped, looked back at Rebecca. You made a choice tonight, Mrs. Torres. Let's see if you survive it. Then he was gone. The diner stayed silent for 3 heartbeats. Then the biker turned to Rebecca. She was shaking, full body tremors she couldn't control. The triplets were crying, clinging to her waist. You okay? The biker asked. Rebecca shook her head. She couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. That man, the biker continued. What does he want? Money. Rebecca's voice was barely a whisper. My husband borrowed money. I can't pay it back. The interest keeps growing. And he said. She looked at her children. Couldn't finish. The biker's jaw tightened. He looked at his brothers. Something passed between them. Some silent communication. Then he looked back at Rebecca. What's your name? Rebecca. Rebecca Torres. I'm Marcus. Most people call me Reaper. He paused. You eat yet? What? Simple question. Did you eat? Rebecca looked at the single bowl of soup on the table, still steaming, untouched. We were about to. Reaper looked at the bowl, looked at the 4 of them. His expression didn't change, but something flickered in those ice blue eyes. He turned to Rosa, who was standing behind the counter. Frozen, Mum, bring these kids the biggest meal you've got. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, vegetables, the works, hot chocolate, pie. Everything. Rosie's jaw dropped. Sir, I'm paying. Move. Asterisk. Rosa practically ran to the kitchen. Rebecca's mouth opened. No, no, we can't accept. Why not? Because I don't know you. Because I can't pay you back. Because what? Reaper's voice softened, just barely. Because you're proud. Because you're scared. Because accepting help feels like failure. Tears spilled down Rebecca's face. She couldn't stop them. Why? She whispered. Why would you do this? You don't even know us. Reaper was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was different, rougher, like the words hurt coming out. 40 years ago, my mama sat in a diner like this. 2 kids, no money, no food. Some stranger bought us dinner. He paused. 3 months later, a loan shark burned our apartment down. My mama didn't make it out. My baby sister disappeared that night. I never saw her again. Rebecca's hand covered her mouth. I've spent 40 years wishing I could thank that stranger, wishing I could repay what he did. Maybe I can't, but I can do it for someone else. Maya tugged Rebecca's coat. Mama, can we say yes, please? Rebecca looked at her daughter, at Lucas and Sophia, at their hollow cheeks and tired eyes and thin jackets. She looked at Reaper, this terrifying man with scars and leather and a past full of violence. This man who just saved them from a monster. Okay, she whispered. Thank you. Reaper nodded once. Then he walked back to his table, where his brothers waited. 20 minutes later, their booth was covered with food. Real food. Hot food. Turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes and green beans and cranberry sauce and warm rolls. The triplets stared like they'd never seen food before. Is this real? Sophia breathed. Yes, baby. Rebecca laughed. Actually laughed. It's real. Eat. They dove in. No manners. No hesitation. Just 3 starving 7-year-olds finally getting to eat. Rebecca ate, too. For the first time in 3 days, she ate. The food was perfect. The food was salvation. She looked across the diner at Reaper. He was watching. When their eyes met, he gave a small nod. She nodded back. For 20 perfect minutes. The world was okay. Then Rebecca's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her stomach dropped. She knew before she even looked at the screen. The text message was short. You made a mistake tonight, Mrs. Torres. I'm going to teach you what mistakes cost. Merry Christmas. Rebecca's hands started shaking again. Reaper was suddenly standing at their table. What is it? She showed him the phone. His expression went cold, hard. Get your kids, he said. You're coming with me. What? Where? Somewhere safe. That man won't stop. You know that. Next time I might not be here. But I don't know you. I can't just. My name is Marcus Callahan. I'm president of the Hells Angels Chicago chapter. I just made you and your children my responsibility. His voice was iron. That means nobody touches you. Nobody threatens you. Nobody hurts you. Ever. Why would you do that? Reaper looked at the triplets, at their small faces smeared with gravy, at their eyes starting to look less hollow. Because nobody did it for my mother, he said quietly. And I won't let your kids see what I saw. Rebecca looked at Maya, Lucas, and Sophia. Looked at their confused, scared faces. She had no good choices, only bad ones and worse ones. Okay, she heard herself say. Okay, Reaper nodded. He threw a handful of bills on the counter. Had to be at least $300 and headed for the door. Maya grabbed Rebecca's hand. Mama, where are we going? Rebecca looked at Reaper's back, at the Hells Angels patch, at the scarred giant who'd walked into her nightmare and offered her a way out, somewhere safe. Baby, she said. She had no idea if it was true, but for the first time in 10 months, she felt something she thought she'd lost forever. Hope. The cold hit like a fist the second they stepped outside. Rebecca pulled the triplets closer, their thin jackets useless against the Chicago wind. Snow was falling harder now. Thick white flakes that stuck to everything. Reaper pointed to a black SUV parked at the curb. Get in. Every instinct Rebecca had screamed at her to run, to grab her children and disappear into the night. But run where? Back to the apartment she couldn't afford. Back to waiting for Moretti to make good on his threat. Mama, I'm scared. Sophia's voice was small. Rebecca picked her up. I know, baby. Me, too. Then why are we going with them? Because there's nowhere else to go, Rebecca thought. Because sometimes the devil you don't know is better than the one you do. Because they're going to help us, she said instead. One of the bikers, younger, red beard, kind eyes, opened the back door. Ma'am. Rebecca climbed in with the triplets. The seats were leather. Warm air blasted from the vents. It felt like stepping into another world. Reaper got in the driver's seat. The red-bearded biker took passenger side. Jake, Reaper said, call ahead. Tell them we're bringing guests. Jake pulled out his phone. Got it. The engine roared to life. The SUV pulled away from the curb. Rebecca watched Rose's diner disappear through the rear window. Rosa stood at the door, watching them go. She made the sign of the cross. Where are we going? Rebecca asked. Our clubhouse outside the city. You'll be safe there, safe from Moretti, safe from everyone. Lucas looked up at Reaper. Are you a bad guy? Reaper glanced in the rearview mirror. Most people think so. But you helped us. Yeah, kid. I did. So, you're a good guy who looks scary. Something flickered across Reaper's face. Almost a smile. Something like that. They drove in silence for 10 minutes. The city lights faded. The roads got darker. Trees closed in on both sides. Jake turned around. So, what's the full story with Moretti? Not now, Reaper said. Brother, if we're protecting her, we need to know what we're protecting her from. Reaper's hands tightened on the steering wheel. He was quiet for a long moment. He's right, he finally said. We need to know everything. Rebecca took a breath. The triplets were falling asleep against her sides, exhausted from fear and food and too much adrenaline. My husband Daniel was a firefighter, she began. Her voice cracked on his name. 10 months ago, there was a fire in an apartment building. A little girl was trapped on the 4th floor. Daniel went in after her. She paused. The memory was a knife that never stopped cutting. He got her out, saved her life, but the floor collapsed on his way back. He was in the IQ for 3 weeks before She couldn't finish. Jake whistled low. Jesus. The medical bills were over $200,000. I lost my nursing job because I took too much time off. Then we lost the house. Then I found out about the loan. What loan? Reaper asked. $7,500. Daniel borrowed it from Moretti 2 months before he died. He never told me. He was trying to pay for the triplets' medical checkups. We'd fallen so far behind on everything. He was desperate. Reaper's jaw tightened. And now Moretti wants it back with interest. $12,000 now. It goes up every month. I can't pay it. I can barely feed my children. And the threat, Jake said, about taking the kids. Rebecca's whole body went rigid. He's made it before. 3 times. He says there are buyers, international buyers, who pay premium prices for her. Voice broke. 4 matched sets of children. Jake turned to Reaper. Brother, you hearing this? I'm hearing it. This is human trafficking. This isn't just loan sharking. I know what it is. So, what do we do? Reaper didn't answer for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was cold, flat. We protect the woman and the kids first. Then, we find out everything Moretti's into. Then, we end it. Rebecca's heart stopped. End it? How? Reaper's eyes met hers in the mirror. However it needs to end. 20 minutes later, lights appeared ahead. A large building, warehouse style, motorcycles parked in neat rows, men in leather standing guard. The SUV stopped. Reaper got out first, opened Rebecca's door. Wake the kids. Rebecca gently shook Maya, Lucas, and Sophia. Come on, babies. We're here. Where's here? Maya mumbled, half asleep. Somewhere safe. They climbed out. The cold hit them again. Rebecca carried Sophia. Maya and Lucas walked beside her, holding her coat. The guards looked at Reaper, then at Rebecca and the children. Who's this? One asked. Under my protection. Anyone got a problem with that? The guard shook his head quickly. No, brother, no problem. Reaper pushed open the door. The inside wasn't what Rebecca expected. It was warm, clean. Christmas lights hung from the rafters. A tree stood in the corner decorated with ornaments. Tables set up with food and drinks. Men in leather sitting around talking. Laughing. They all stopped when Reaper walked in with a woman and 3 children. Brothers, Reaper said. We have guests tonight. This is Rebecca. These are her kids, Maya, Lucas, and Sophia. They're staying with us until further notice. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. A massive man with a shaved head stood up. His patch said Sergeant at Arms. Reaper. What the hell? You can't just bring civilians in here. I just did. Brother, we've got business. We've got rules. We can't have. Reaper's voice went cold. I'm the president. I make the rules. She's under my protection. That means she's under the club's protection. You got a problem. You take it up with me. Outside. Alone. Ree stared at him. The tension was thick enough to choke on. Then Ree looked at the triplets, at their hollow cheeks, their worn coats, their exhausted eyes. Something shifted in his face. Ah, hell, he muttered. It's Christmas Eve. I ain't going to fight you on this. He walked over to Rebecca. Up close. He was terrifying. Tattoos covered his neck and hands. A scar split his lower lip. You hungry, kid? He asked Lucas. Lucas pressed closer to Rebecca. We already ate. Yeah, you want some hot chocolate? We got the good stuff with marshmallows. Lucas looked up at Rebecca. Mama. Rebecca nodded slowly. Okay. Ree held out his massive hand. Come on. I'll show you where it is. Lucas hesitated. Then he took Rye's hand. Maya and Sophia watched their brother walk away with a biker who looked like he could break bones with his bare hands. It's okay. Rebecca whispered to them. He won't hurt him. How do you know? Maya asked. I don't, but I'm choosing to trust. Reaper led them through the main room. Bikers watched with curiosity. Some nodded at Rebecca. Some just stared. They reached a door at the back. Reaper pushed it open. Inside was a small room, clean, simple. 2 beds, a bathroom, a window with thick curtains. It's not much, Reaper said. But it's warm, and nobody's coming through that door without going through me first. Rebecca stood in the doorway. Sophia asleep on her shoulder. Maya holding her hand. Why are you doing this? She asked. Really? The whole truth. Reaper leaned against the wall, crossed his arms. You want the truth? I've done a lot of bad things in my life, Rebecca. Hurt a lot of people. Some deserved it, some didn't. I joined this club when I was 19 because I had nowhere else to go. I've been riding with these men for 33 years. He paused. I've buried 16 brothers. I've put bullets in men who tried to kill me. I've done things that would make you run out of here screaming. Rebecca's blood ran cold. But I've never hurt a woman. I've never hurt a child. That's where I draw the line. And Moretti crossed that line the second he threatened your kids. His voice went flat, empty. He's a dead man. He just doesn't know it yet. I don't want anyone to die because of me. It's not because of you. It's because of what he is. Men who threaten children don't get to keep breathing. That's the rule. Whose rule? Mine. Reaper straightened up. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we figure out what Moretti's really into. Then we finish it. He walked to the door, paused. Lock this behind me. Don't open it for anyone except me or Jake. The one with the red beard. How will I know it's you? I'll knock 3 times. Wait 2 seconds. Then knock twice more. Rebecca nodded. 3, 2 seconds. 2. You learn fast. He walked out. Rebecca locked the door behind him. She laid Sophia on one of the beds, covered her with a blanket. Maya climbed in next to her sister. Mama, are we safe? I think so, baby. Are those men going to hurt the bad man who scared us? Rebecca thought about lying, decided against it. Probably. Maya's voice was fierce, small, and fierce. He deserved it for saying those things about us. Rebecca kissed her forehead. Go to sleep. She sat on the floor with her back against the door. She didn't sleep. Couldn't. Every sound made her jump. Every footstep outside made her heart race. But the triplets slept peacefully. For the first time in months, they looked safe. That was worth everything. 3 hours passed. Rebecca was starting to drift off when she heard voices outside, getting louder. She pressed her ear to the door. You can't just ignore this, Reaper. I'm not ignoring it. I'm handling it. Handling it. You brought a woman and 3 kids into our clubhouse. You threatened to break Rye's bones. You're talking about going after Victor Moretti. Do you have any idea who that man is connected to? Jake's voice, angry, scared. I know exactly who he's connected to. Moretti is half the Chicago PD on his payroll. He's got ties to the Moretti crime family in New York. He's been running his operation for 18 years, and nobody's touched him. What makes you think we can? Because nobody's tried. Not really. Not with everything we've got. And what have we got? 50 brothers, guns. Do you think that's enough to take on organized crime and corrupt cops? It's a start. Footsteps. Pacing. Reaper, I've been riding with you for 24 years. I've followed you into fights I never thought I'd walk out of. I've taken bullets for this club. But this is different. This is suicide. Maybe. But I'm not walking away from those kids. Why? Jake's voice cracked. You don't know them. You don't owe them anything. Silence. Long and heavy. I told you about my mother, Reaper said quietly. I told you about that night in the diner. What I didn't tell you is what happened after. Jake's voice softened. What happened? A man came to our apartment a week later. Said my mother owed him money. My father had taken out a loan before he left. Same story. Same kind of man. He threatened to take me and my sister. Said he'd sell us to pay the debt. Jesus, Reaper. My mother stood in front of us with a kitchen knife. Told him if he took one more step, she'd kill him. She meant it. I could see it in her eyes. He could, too. What happened? He left, but he came back 3 months later. Brought friends. They burned our apartment down while we were sleeping. Rebecca covered her mouth with her hand. Tears streamed down her face. My sister and I made it out. Reaper continued. His voice was rough, broken. My mother didn't. I was 12 years old when I watched her burn. And my baby sister. He stopped. Couldn't finish. What happened to her? Jake whispered. They took her right there on the street, while the building burned, grabbed her and threw her in a van. I tried to fight them. I was 12. They broke my arm and left me in the snow. Rebecca's chest felt like it was caving in. I never saw her again. Spent 5 years looking. Every lead went nowhere. She just vanished like she never existed. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't know. That woman in there. Reaper's voice was stronger now. She's got the same look my mother had. Same fire. Same desperation. She slapped a man who could have her killed without blinking. She's not backing down. She just needs someone to stand with her. And that's going to be us. That's going to be me. You can walk away if you want. I won't stop you. Long pause. Hell, Reaper. You know I'm not walking away. I'm just saying this is going to get ugly. I know. Moretti's going to come after us. All of us. Our families. Everything. I know. And you're still doing this. Yeah, Jake. I'm still doing this. Footsteps moving away. Rebecca leaned back against the door. Her heart was pounding. Reaper's story. His mother. His sister. It was too much. But it also explained everything. This wasn't just about her. This was about a wound that had been bleeding for 40 years. A debt Reaper had been waiting his whole life to settle. She pulled her knees to her chest, wrapped her arms around them. Somewhere in this building, a man who'd lost everything was preparing to risk everything again for her. 3 children he'd met 4 hours ago. Rebecca didn't know. Is that made him crazy or a hero? Maybe both. Maybe that's what heroes were. People too broken to save themselves. So they saved everyone else instead. She closed her eyes, listened to her children breathing. Safe, warm, protected, tonight. For the first time in 10 months. Rebecca Torres slept without fear. Morning came too fast. Light crept through the curtains. Rebecca hadn't really slept, just drifted in and out of consciousness. Every sound making her pulse spike. 3 knocks. 2 seconds of silence. 2 more knocks. She unlocked the door. Reaper stood there with a tray of food and 3 sets of brand new winter clothes. Merry Christmas, he said. The triplets sat up, rubbing their eyes. Sophia saw the bacon and her face lit up like someone had turned on a switch. Is that real bacon? Real as it gets, kid. Can we, mama? Maya looked at Rebecca with hope that physically hurt to see. Double quotes, yes, baby. Eat. Reaper set the tray on the bed. The triplets dove in immediately. He held up the clothes. Warm coats, thermal shirts, new boots. These are for them. It's cold. Their jackets aren't good enough. Rebecca took the clothes. Her throat was too tight to speak. I can't. Don't say you can't accept it. The kids need it. End of story. Rebecca looked at him. This giant of a man. This killer who bought children clothes and spoke about violence like it was weather. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet. Reaper's expression darkened. We need to talk once the kids are done eating about Moretti. He's worse than you know. A lot worse. Rebecca's stomach dropped. What do you mean? I made some calls last night. Talked to some people who know things. Moretti isn't just a loan shark. He's running a trafficking ring. Women and children. Targets families in crisis. Widows. Single mothers. People nobody will miss. The room tilted. Rebecca grabbed the door frame. What? At least 8 women have disappeared after getting tangled up with him. Their kids, too. Nobody knows where they went. Police won't investigate because they're on his payroll. Oh my God. He wasn't just threatening you, Rebecca. He was shopping, sizing up merchandise. Rebecca's knees gave out. She caught herself on the door. Reaper grabbed her arm. Easy. Breathe, my children. He was going to. He's not going to do anything. I told you he's a dead man. But how? If the police are protecting him, there are people who aren't police. People who owe me favors. One of them is a detective named Carmen Reyes, federal. She's been trying to build a case against Moretti for years. She just needs evidence and witnesses. Rebecca looked up at him. You want me to testify? I want you to think about it. If you do, it could bring him down. All of it. The trafficking, the corruption, everything. And if I don't, then we handle it the other way. Rebecca knew what that meant. Blood, death, more violence. I have children, she said quietly. I can't put them in more danger. I understand, but I need you to know something. Reaper's voice was steady. Moretti isn't going to stop. Whether you testify or not, whether we kill him or not, there are others. He's part of something bigger. If we take him down the right way, we save more than just your kids. We save everyone he was going to hurt. Rebecca was quiet for a long moment. She looked at the triplets. They were laughing, fighting over the last piece of bacon. So innocent, so unaware. I need to think, she finally said. Take your time, but not too much. Moretti knows you're gone. He's going to be looking. Reaper started to leave. Wait, Rebecca said. The women who disappeared, the ones Moretti took, is there any chance they're still alive? Reaper's expression was unreadable. Maybe. If they're useful to him, he keeps them alive. If not, he didn't finish. Rebecca's hands balled into fists. Her fear was transforming, hardening, becoming something else. Rage. I'll testify, she said. I'll do whatever it takes to bring him down. Reaper studied her for a moment. Then he nodded. Get the kids dressed. We're meeting with Reyes in 2 hours. He walked away. Rebecca closed the door, leaned against it. Her whole body was shaking. What did she just agree to? What did she just put her children into? But then she thought of the other women, the other children, the ones nobody was looking for. She couldn't save Daniel, couldn't save her house or her job or her old life. But maybe she could save them. An hour later, they were in the main room. Jake was there with 3 other bikers. Reaper stood at the head of the table like a general planning war. Reyes is meeting us at a warehouse on the east side, Reaper said. Neutral ground, safer for everyone. Why not here? Rebecca asked. Because if she comes here, Moretti's people might follow her. I'm not putting my brothers at risk. They loaded into 2 vehicles. Rebecca rode with Reaper and Jake. The triplets were quiet, sensing the tension. Uncle Reaper, Lucas said suddenly. Reaper glanced in the mirror. Yeah, kid. Are you going to hurt the bad man? Silence. Heavy. I'm going to make sure he never hurts anyone again. You, your sisters, your mama, nobody. Promise. Yeah, kid. I promise. Something in his voice made Rebecca believe him, made her believe that despite everything, despite the leather and the scars and the violence, this man would keep her children safe. They pulled into an industrial area. Abandoned warehouses, empty lots, the kind of place where things happened that nobody talked about. A black sedan was parked outside a large metal building. Government plates. Reaper stopped the SUV. Stay here. I'm going to make sure it's safe. He got out. Jake followed. They walked toward the building, hands near their waists. Rebecca watched through the window. Her fingers gripped the seat. 2 minutes passed. 3, 4. Then Reaper appeared at the warehouse door, waved them forward. Rebecca took a deep breath. Okay, let's go. She helped the triplets out. The cold bit at their faces, but the new coats kept them warm. A woman stood waiting inside. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, dark hair pulled back tight. She wore a simple jacket and jeans, but everything about her screamed authority. Mrs. Torres, she said. I'm Detective Carmen Reyes, Federal Task Force on Human Trafficking. Rebecca shook her hand. Thank you for meeting us, especially on Christmas. Christmas is when predators think they're safe. I don't take holidays. Reyes looked down at the triplets. Her expression softened just barely. These are your children. Yes, Maya, Lucas, and Sophia. Reyes crouched down to their level. Hey there, I'm Carmen. Are you 3 hungry? I brought donuts. Lucas's eyes lit up. Double quotes donuts. The good kind with sprinkles. She pointed to a small table in the corner. Go ahead. The triplets ran to the table. Rebecca watched them for a moment, then turned back to Reyes. They won't know what's happening, Rebecca said quietly. I haven't told them everything. That's probably for the best. Reyes pulled out a small recorder. Do you mind if I record this? No. Whatever helps. Reyes hit the button. Okay. Mrs. Torres, start from the beginning. Tell me everything about Victor Moretti. Rebecca sat down on a metal folding chair. Reaper stood nearby, arms crossed. Jake watched the door. Rebecca told her everything. The loan, the threats, the diner, the text message. Every word Moretti had spoken about buyers and match sets and premium prices. When she finished, Reyes was quiet for a long moment. Mrs. Torres, I've been investigating Moretti for 4 years. He's connected to a network that traffics women and children across state lines. We've never been able to prove it. No witnesses. Everyone who could testify either disappeared or stopped talking. What happened to them? Some we found dead. Others vanished completely. Their families, too. Rebecca's blood ran cold. You're saying he kills witnesses. I'm saying he makes problems disappear however he needs to. So if I testify, I become a target. A bigger target than I already am. Reaper stepped forward. She's under my protection. That changes things. Reyes raised an eyebrow. Your protection? Mr. Callahan, with all due respect, you run a motorcycle club. Moretti has connections to organized crime families in 3 states. He has cops, judges, politicians in his pocket. What exactly can you offer that I can't? Reaper's eyes went cold. I can offer the one thing you can't, detective. I can get to him before he gets to her. Are you admitting to intent to commit murder? I'm admitting to intent to protect this woman and her children. Whatever that takes. They stared at each other. Neither blinked. Finally, Reyes sighed. Look, I'm not here to arrest anyone. Not today. I'm here because I want Moretti behind bars. And for the first time in 4 years, I might have a witness willing to talk. She turned to Rebecca. If you agree to testify, I can offer you protection. Federal witness protection. No identities. New location. Your children would be safe. And what about the other women? Rebecca asked. The ones who disappeared. Reyes hesitated. What about them? Reaper told me there are at least 8 women and children Moretti took. Are they still alive? We believe some of them are. We've tracked shipments. Reyes stopped herself. I shouldn't be telling you this. Tell me anyway. Reyes studied Rebecca for a long moment. Then she spoke. We believe Moretti is holding victims at a location outside the city. A compound of some kind. We don't know exactly where. We've never been able to get close enough to confirm. So, they could still be saved. Theoretically, yes, if we could find them. Rebecca stood up. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. Then, we find them. Ray shook her head. Mrs. Torres, that's not how this works. We build a case. We get warrants. We go through proper channels. Proper channels. Rebecca's voice rose. How long have you been going through proper channels? 4 years. And how many women have disappeared in those 4 years? Ray's didn't answer. Rebecca stepped closer. Detective, I spent last night in a biker clubhouse because a loan shark threatened to sell my children. I've been homeless, hungry, and terrified 4 months. I have nothing left to lose, so don't tell me about proper channels. Tell me how to find those women. Reaper moved to Rebecca's side. She's right, detective. Your way hasn't worked. Maybe it's time to try something different. Ray's looked between them. You're talking about an unsanctioned raid on a suspected trafficking compound. That's illegal. That's dangerous. That could get everyone killed. So could waiting, Reaper said. Moretti knows we took Rebecca. He's going to be looking for her. And when he doesn't find her, he's going to start cleaning house. Anyone who could talk. Anyone who's seen too much. Including those women. Ray's was quiet for a long moment. There's a man, she finally said. Works for Moretti. Low level. He's been feeding me information for the past 8 months. He's scared. He wants out. If anyone knows where that compound is, he does. Who is he? Reaper asked. His name is Danny Russo. He works at Moretti's car dealership. It's a front for money laundering. Can you get him to talk? I've been trying. He's too afraid. Every time I push, he shuts down. Reaper nodded slowly. Let me try. He'll never talk to a Hell's Angel. He might if I give him something he wants more than safety. What's that? Revenge. Ray's frowned. What do you mean? Russo had a sister, Maria Russo. She disappeared 2 years ago. Her and her 8-year-old daughter. Moretti said they skipped town. But everyone knew the truth. Ray's eyes widened. How do you know this? I know a lot of things, detective. That's how I've stayed alive this long. He pulled out his phone. Give me Russo's address. I'll have him talking by tonight. Ray's hesitated. Then she wrote something on a piece of paper and handed it to Reaper. If this goes wrong, it won't. If it does, I never met you. None of this happened. Reaper pocketed the paper. Understood. He turned to Rebecca. Stay here with Ray's. I'll be back in a few hours. Rebecca grabbed his arm. Wait. I want to come. No. Reaper, look at me. He waited until her eyes met his. Those kids need you. They need you alive and safe. I can't guarantee that if you come with me. And if something happens to you, what then? Reaper's expression softened just barely. Then Ray's takes you into witness protection. You disappear. You start over. You keep those kids safe. That's not good enough. It's all I can offer. He started toward the door. Jake fell in beside him. At the threshold. Reaper paused. He looked back. Rebecca. That night at the diner when you slapped Moretti, most people would have begged, would have cried. You stood up and hit him. That took guts. I wasn't thinking. I just reacted. That's the point. When everything in you says run, you fight instead. That's not common. That's rare. He paused. Don't lose that. Then he was gone. Rebecca stood frozen. The warehouse felt suddenly empty. Ray's moved to her side. He's right. You know what you did took courage. It didn't feel like courage. It felt like madness. Sometimes they're the same thing. Rebecca looked at her children. They were still eating donuts, oblivious to the darkness swirling around them. Detective, can I ask you something? Go ahead. Why do you do this? Hunting men like Moretti year after year. Watching people disappear. Knowing you can't save everyone. Ray's was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was distant. I had a daughter, Nicole. She was 17 when she disappeared. Walking home from school one day. Never made it. Rebecca's heart clenched. I'm so sorry. They never found her. No body. No witnesses. Nothing. She just vanished. Ray's jaw tightened. That was 18 years ago. I've spent every day since trying to make sure no other parent goes through what I went through. Do you think she's still alive? No. I stopped hoping a long time ago, but I keep fighting because somewhere out there, another Nicole is waiting to be found. Another mother is waiting for her to come home. Rebecca understood. This wasn't just a job for Rays. This was a crusade, a war that never ended. What do we do now? Rebecca asked. We wait. Reaper knows what he's doing. He'll get Russo to talk. And then we find that compound, and we take Moretti down. 2 hours crawled by like years. The triplets fell asleep on blankets Rays had brought. Rebecca paced, checked her phone, paced more. Finally, the warehouse door burst open. Reaper walked in. His face was grim. Behind him, Jake half carried a thin, terrified man with a black eye and split lip. Got him, Reaper said. They dropped the man into a chair. He was shaking so badly the chair rattled. Rays stood up. Danny Russo. The man nodded frantically. Please, please don't kill me. I'll tell you everything. Just don't kill me. Nobody's killing you, Rays said. We just want information. They'll find out. If I talk, they'll find out. They'll kill me like they killed my sister. Reaper crouched down in front of him. Double quotes Danny. Look at me. Russo's terrified eyes met Reaper's. I know about Maria. I know about your niece, Elena. I know what Moretti did to them. Tears streamed down Russo's face. He took them. Said they ran away, but I saw the van. I saw his men put them inside. Where did they take them? I don't know. I swear I don't. Reaper grabbed his collar. You worked for him for 12 years. You saw everything. You know where he keeps them. I can't. If I tell you I'm dead, you're already dead. Danny, the moment we pulled you out of your apartment, Moretti's people saw. They know you're talking to us. There's no going back. Russo's face crumpled. Oh God. Oh God. The only way you survive this is if we take Moretti down. All of him, tonight. And for that, we need to know where the compound is. Russo was sobbing now. Broken. Defeated. They'll kill me. They won't get the chance. Tell me where, and I promise you, on my mother's grave, I will burn that place to the ground. Long silence. Russo's whole body shook. Finally, he spoke. There's a farm 40 miles north of Route 29. Looks abandoned, but underground there's a bunker. That's where they keep them. How many people? I don't know. Maybe 20, maybe more. Moretti rotates them. Some get sold, some. He couldn't finish. Reaper stood up, looked at Rays. You got that? Rays was already on her phone. I'm calling for backup. This is a federal raid now. How long until your people get there? 3 hours, maybe 4. It's Christmas. Everyone's scattered. Reaper shook his head. We don't have 4 hours. The second Moretti hears we grabbed Russo, he's going to clean house. Everyone in that compound will be dead or gone. I can't authorize an unsanctioned raid. It's not legal. Then don't authorize it. Just don't stop us. Ray stared at him. The weight of the decision pressed down on her shoulders. If you go in there without backup, you could die. All of you, maybe. But those people in that bunker will definitely die if we wait. Rays closed her eyes. When she opened them, something had shifted. I never saw you leave this warehouse. I don't know where you went. If anyone asks, this meeting never happened. Reaper nodded. Understood. He turned to Rebecca. Stay here. Watch the kids. Reaper, I mean it. This is going to be dangerous. I need to know you're safe. Rebecca wanted to argue, wanted to fight, but she looked at her sleeping children and knew he was right. Come back, she said. Please come back. Reaper held her gaze. I always do. He walked toward the door. Jake and the other bikers followed Dot at the threshold. Reaper stopped. Rays. If I don't come back, get her out. Her and the kids. New names, new lives. As far away from here as possible. I will. Then he was gone. The warehouse fell silent. Rebecca sat down next to her sleeping children, pulled them close, felt their warmth against her body. Please, she whispered to no one. Please let him come back. 1 hour passed. Then 2. Rebecca couldn't sit still. She walked to the window, looked at the empty parking lot. Walked back, checked on the triplets, sleeping peacefully. Walked to the window again, raised pace too. Phone pressed to her ear, calling in favors, moving pieces into place. Finally, Ray's phone rang. She answered immediately. Talk to me. Rebecca watched her face, saw it change, saw the color drain from her cheeks. What? Rebecca asked. What is it? Ray's lowered the phone. Her voice was hollow. They found the compound. Reaper and his men went in 20 minutes ago, and Moretti was there with 35 armed men. It's a war zone. Rebecca's legs went weak. Is Reaper? I don't know. Communications are jammed. We lost contact. The world spun. Rebecca grabbed a chair to steady herself. Her children were still sleeping, peaceful, unaware, and somewhere 40 mi away. The man who had saved them was fighting for his life. I have to go, Rebecca said. What? I have to go. I have to help. Are you insane? You can't. He went there because of me. Because of my family. I can't just sit here and wait. Ray's grabbed her arm. Listen to me. You walk out that door, you die. Your children become orphans. Is that what you want? Rebecca stopped. The words hit like a punch. Her children, Maya, Lucas, and Sophia, sleeping peacefully behind her. She couldn't leave them, couldn't abandon them like the world had abandoned her. But she couldn't do nothing. There has to be something, she said. Something I can do. Ray's thought for a moment. Then her eyes lit up. Moretti doesn't know where you are. He's focused on Reaper at the compound. If we move now while he's distracted. Move where? His office downtown. He keeps records there. Physical files, names, dates, transactions. Everything we'd need to build an airtight case. You want to break into his office. I want you to help me break into his office. While he's busy fighting a war he can't win. We take everything. Every piece of evidence. Every dirty secret. Rebecca looked at her children. Then at Ray's. What about Maya, Lucas, and Sophia? I'll call someone. A marshal I trust. She stay with them until we get back. How long? 2 hours, maybe less. Rebecca's heart pounded. This was insane. This was dangerous. This could get her killed, but it could also end everything. Take down Moretti for good. Protect her children forever. She thought of Reaper, of his mother, of 40 years he'd spent carrying that pain. She thought of Daniel, of the last thing he'd ever said to her. Protect them no matter what. Let's go, Rebecca said. The marshal arrived in 12 minutes. A woman in her 40s named Torres. Hard eyes, gentle hands. She knelt beside the sleeping triplets and smiled. They're beautiful. I'll guard them with my life. Rebecca hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to stay, to hold her children, and never let go. Rebecca, Ray's said from the door. We have to move now. Rebecca kissed Maya's forehead. Then Lucas's, then Sophia's. They didn't wake. I'll be back, she whispered. I promise. She followed Ray's into the night. Ray's drove fast. No sirens, no lights, just a black sedan cutting through empty streets. Moretti's office is downtown, Ray's said. 3rd floor of a building he owns. Officially, it's a real estate company. Unofficially, it's his command center. How do we get in? I have a key. One of his former employees gave it to me before she disappeared. Rebecca's stomach turned. Disappeared. She was going to testify. Never got the chance. The words hung in the air. Rebecca understood what she was walking into. The same trap that had swallowed so many others. But she kept moving. 2 minutes later, they pulled into an underground parking garage. Empty. Silent. Ray's killed the engine. From here, we walk. Stay close. Stay quiet. They exited the car. Ray's led the way to a service elevator. She swiped a key card. The doors opened. 3rd floor, Ray's said. Once we're in, we have maybe 20 minutes before the security system resets and alerts Moretti's people. What happens then? Then we better be gone. The elevator climbed. Rebecca's heart pounded louder with each floor. The doors opened onto a dark hallway. Ray's moved forward, gun drawn. Rebecca followed, her breath shallow. They reached a heavy wooden door. Ray's inserted the key. It turned with a soft click. Inside the office was exactly what Rebecca expected. Expensive furniture, dark wood, the smell of cigars and leather, the throne room of a monster. The files are in the back, Reyes said. Help me look. They moved through the darkness. Reyes used a small flashlight, sweeping it across shelves and cabinets. Rebecca opened a drawer. Papers, contracts, nothing useful. Another drawer. Photos, women, children, faces frozen in fear. Her hands trembled. Reyes. Look at this. Reyes came over. She saw the photos and her jaw tightened. Evidence. Take all of it. Rebecca stuffed the photos into a bag Reyes had brought. Her fingers touched more files. Names, dates, amounts paid, buyers listed by code names. This is everything, Rebecca breathed. Everything he's done. Keep moving. We don't have much time. They worked in silence, filling the bag with years of Moretti's crimes. Every document was a life destroyed. Every photo was a family torn apart. Rebecca found a folder labeled inventory. She opened it. Her blood went cold. Lists. Dozens of lists. Names of women and children. Ages. Physical descriptions. Status. Sold. Pending. Deceased. Oh my God. She whispered. Reyes looked over her shoulder. Even she, who had seen everything, went pale. He kept records of everything. Every person he trafficked. Rebecca's eyes scanned the pages, looking for something, someone. Then she found it. Russo Maria, age 36, female, Caucasian, status, sold. Russo Elena, age 8, female, Caucasian, status, sold. Danny's sister, Danny's niece, sold like property. They're alive, Rebecca said. Or they were. He sold them. She flipped the page. Beer codes, locations, dates. Someone in New York 6 months ago. Reyes pulled out her phone. I need to call this in. If they're still alive, we can find them. Do it. Do it now. Reyes dialed. Rebecca kept searching. Another folder. Another list. More names. Then she saw something that stopped her heart. Torres Maya. Age 7. Female. Caucasian. Status. Pending. Torres Lucas. Age 7. Male. Caucasian. Status. Pending. Torres Sophia. Age 7. Female. Caucasian. Status. Pending. Estimated value. $180,000. Triplet premium matched set. Her children. Her babies already catalogued. Already priced. Rebecca's vision went red. He was going to sell them, she said. Her voice was barely human. Reyes turned. Saw the file. Saw Rebecca's face. Rebecca. He had my children in his inventory. He had already set the price. Something broke inside her. Something that had been held together by threads. She screamed. The sound echoed through the empty office. Raw, primal. The scream of a mother who had almost lost everything. Reyes grabbed her. Rebecca, stop. We have to go. But Rebecca couldn't stop. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Her children, Maya, Lucas, and Sophia, sleeping peacefully in that warehouse. They had no idea how close they'd come. How close they still were. Reyes shook her heart. Listen to me. We have the evidence. We have everything we need. But if we don't get out now, none of it matters. Rebecca forced herself to focus, to breathe, to think. Okay, she gasped. Okay, let's go. They grabbed the bags, headed for the door. That's when the lights came on. Rebecca froze. 3 men stood in the doorway. Big, armed, wearing suits that couldn't hide their muscle. And behind them, stepping into the light like a nightmare made flesh, was Victor Moretti. Mrs. Torres, he said. His voice was silk over steel. What a pleasant surprise. Reyes raised her gun. Federal agent. Don't move. Moretti laughed. Agent Reyes. We finally meet. I have heard so much about you. You're under arrest. All of you. Am I? And who's going to arrest me? You alone with 1 gun against 3. Backup is on the way. No, it isn't. Your people are 40 miles north watching my compound burn. By the time they get here, you'll be dead. And Mrs. Torres will be. He smiled. Let's just say her children will be orphans. Rebecca's blood turned to ice. You won't touch them. I already have. Mrs. Torres. Or did you think I didn't know where you were hiding? That warehouse on the east side. Marshall Torres is probably dead by now, And your precious triplets. He let the words hang. No, Rebecca whispered. No, you're lying. Am I? Call them. Go ahead. See if anyone answers. Rebecca pulled out her phone, dialed Torres. 1 ring, 2, 3. No answer. 4 rings, 5. Hello. Torres's voice. Alive. Are the children okay? Rebecca's voice cracked. They're fine. Sleeping. What's wrong? Relief flooded through her so hard she almost collapsed. Nothing. Nothing's wrong. Just don't open the door for anyone. Anyone except me or Detective Reyes. Do you understand? Rebecca, what's happening? Just do it, please. She hung up. Moretti's smile faltered. Interesting. It seems my men are slower than I thought. Your men are finished, Rebecca said. Her fear was transforming, hardening into something else. Reaper is at your compound. He's taking it apart piece by piece. Reaper. Moretti's eyes darkened. That old biker thinks maybe he's some kind of hero. He has no idea what he's walking into. 30 men. I have 50. And reinforcements on the way. He stepped closer. You see, Mrs. Torres, this isn't my first war. I've been fighting people like Reaper for 20 years. They come, they fight, they die, and I remain. Reyes adjusted her aim. You're not remaining anywhere. You're going to prison. With what evidence? The files you're holding. There'll be ashes in an hour along with both of you. He snapped his fingers. His men moved forward. Reyes fired. The first man went down with a bullet in his shoulder. He screamed. The others scattered. Run. Reyes shouted. Rebecca didn't need to be told twice. She sprinted toward the back of the office. Reyes followed, firing behind her. Glass shattered. Bullets tore through the air. Rebecca saw a door. Emergency exit. She slammed into it. Stairs going down. Go. Reyes was right behind her. Don't stop. They ran down the stairs. 1 floor, 2. Rebecca's lungs burned. Behind them, footsteps. Getting closer, Reyes spun and fired up the stairwell. A man grunted. Fell. Keep moving. They reached the ground floor. Rebecca burst through the door into the parking garage. Reyes's car was 50 feet away. They ran. Bullets sparked off the concrete around them. Rebecca's ears rang. Her legs screamed. 20 feet. 10. Reyes hit the unlock button. The car beeped. Rebecca dove into the passenger seat. Reyes slid behind the wheel. The engine roared. Tires screeched. The car shot forward. Behind them, Moretti's men poured out of the stairwell. Reyes didn't slow down. She aimed for the exit and floored it. The car burst out of the garage into the street. Reyes took a hard left, then a right, weaving through empty intersections. Rebecca looked back. No one following yet. Are you hit? Reyes asked. No. You. Graze on my arm. I'll live. Rebecca saw the blood soaking through Reyes's sleeve. You need a hospital. Later. First. We need to get back to the warehouse. Get the kids. Get out of the city. Reyes's phone buzzed. She answered on speaker. Reyes. Detective. A man's voice. Urgent. It's Agent Rodriguez. We just got word from the compound. The raid is over. Rebecca's heart stopped. What happened? Is Reaper alive? Silence on the other end. Agent Reyes. Press report. Multiple casualties both sides. The compound is secure. We're pulling out survivors now. Reaper Marcus Callahan. Is he alive? A long pause. He's being airlifted to County General. He took 3 bullets. They don't know if he's going to make it. The words hit Rebecca like a physical blow. She grabbed the dashboard to steady herself. No, she whispered. No, that's not. What about Moretti's men? Reyes asked. How many captured? Over 30. We're still counting. Most of them are surrendering now that the compound is burning. And the victims, the women and children. We found 15 so far, alive. Scared but alive. We're transporting them to safety now. Reyes exhaled. Good. That's good. She hung up. Rebecca couldn't speak. Couldn't think. Reaper. The man who had walked into that diner and changed everything. The man who had promised to protect her. He was dying. He's strong, Reyes said quietly. I've seen his file. He survived worse. You don't know that. No, I don't. but I know men like him don't go down easy. Rebecca stared out the window. The city blurred past. Christmas lights still twinkled on houses and storefronts. Families waking up to presents and warmth and safety. And somewhere in a hospital, a grey-bearded biker was fighting for his life because of her. "This is my fault," she whispered. "No, this is Moretti's fault." Reaper made his choice. He knew what he was walking into. He did it for me, for my children. He did it because it was right. Because those women in that compound deserved to be saved. Because someone had to stop Moretti, and no one else was willing to try. Reyes reached over and squeezed Rebecca's hand. "You didn't cause this. You ended it. Those files you're holding, they're going to put Moretti away for life. They're going to save more people than you'll ever know." Rebecca looked down at the bag in her lap. The evidence, the proof of so many destroyed lives. "It doesn't feel like a victory," she said. "It never does. Not when it costs this much." They drove in silence until they reached the warehouse. Doc Torres met them at the door. The triplets were awake now, rubbing their eyes. "Mommy." Maya ran into Rebecca's arms. Rebecca held her tight, tighter than she'd ever held anything. "I'm here, baby. I'm here. Where did you go? We woke up and you weren't here. I had to do something important, but it's over now. Everything's going to be okay." She looked at Lucas and Sophia. They ran to her. She wrapped both arms around all three of them, felt their warmth, their heartbeats, their lives pressed against her. They were safe. After everything, they were safe. "We need to move," Reyes said. "Moretti got away. He'll be looking for you." Rebecca nodded. She stood, keeping the triplets close. "Where do we go?" "I have a safe house off the grid. We stay there until the feds finish their sweep. By tomorrow, Moretti won't have anywhere to hide." They piled into Reyes' car. Torres followed in a separate vehicle. As they drove, Lucas looked up at Rebecca. "Mama, is Uncle Reaper okay?" Rebecca's throat tightened. She couldn't lie. "Not about this. He got hurt, baby. But he's strong. He's going to fight. Will we see him again?" "I hope so, sweetheart. I really hope so." The safe house was small, an old farmhouse miles from the city. Reyes had used it before for witnesses who needed to disappear. They settled in. Torres stood guard outside. The triplets fell asleep on the couch. Exhausted, Rebecca sat at the kitchen table. Reyes was on the phone coordinating with federal agents. Hours passed. At 3 o'clock in the morning, Reyes finally hung up. "News?" Rebecca asked. "Moretti's men are talking. All of them. They're giving up everything. Names, locations, buyers. The whole network is coming down, and Moretti still missing. But we have every cop in the state looking for him. He won't get far. And Reaper." Reyes hesitated. "He's out of surgery. Still critical. They won't know more until morning." Rebecca closed her eyes. Exhaustion was dragging at her, but she couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Reaper's face, his ice blue eyes, his scarred cheek. "I want to see him," she said. "That's not a good idea. If Moretti's people are watching the hospital, I don't care. He saved my life, my children's lives. I'm not letting him die alone." Reyes studied her for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Okay at first light. I'll take you. But we go in quiet, fast. No one knows you're there." "Thank you." Rebecca didn't sleep. She sat by the window, watching the darkness fade into grey, watching the first light of morning creep across the horizon. At 6, Reyes touched her shoulder. "Time to go." Torres stayed with the triplets. Rebecca followed Reyes to the car. The drive to County General took 40 minutes. They parked in a side lot, entered through a service entrance. Reyes flashed her badge at a nurse. "Marcus Callahan." "What room?" "I see you. Room 312. Family only." "She's family." The nurse looked at Rebecca, saw the desperation in her eyes, saw something that made her nod. Down the hall. Second left. They walked. Rebecca's legs felt like lead. Her heart pounded louder with each step. Room 312. The door was cracked open. Reyes nodded for Rebecca to go in. She pushed the door open. Reaper lay in the bed. Tubes everywhere, machines beeping. His massive body looked smaller somehow, fragile. His brothers were there, Jake, Ree, two others she didn't recognize. They looked up when she entered. Jake stood. "She shouldn't be here." "I know," Rebecca said. "I had to come." She moved to the bed, looked down at Reaper. His face was pale, his breathing shallow. A bandage covered most of his chest. "Is he going to make it?" she asked. Ree shook his head. "Doctors don't know. One bullet hit near his heart. They got it out. But there was a lot of damage." Rebecca reached out, took Reaper's hand. It was cold. "You saved us," she whispered. "You saved those women, those children. You did what no one else could do." No response, just the steady beep of the heart monitor. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I brought this into your life. But I need you to fight. Maya, Lucas, and Sophia need you. They call you Uncle Marcus now. They want you to teach them to ride motorcycles. They want you at their birthday parties." Tears streamed down her face. "Please don't die. Please, not for me. Not because of me." She stayed there for an hour, holding his hand, talking to him, telling him about the evidence she found, about Moretti's men surrendering, about the 15 people they saved. Reaper didn't wake up. At 8, Ray's appeared at the door. "Rebecca, we need to go. Just a little longer. Moretti's people might have tracked us here. It's not safe." Rebecca looked at Reaper at his closed eyes, his still face. She leaned down, kissed his forehead. "I'll come back," she whispered. "I promise." She turned toward the door. That's when she heard it. A soft sound, like a groan. She spun around. Reaper's eyes were open, just barely. Blue slits looking at her. "Rebecca." His voice was barely a whisper, a rasp of sound. She ran back to the bed. "Reaper, oh my God, you're awake. The kids, are they safe?" "Yes, yes, they're safe because of you." Reaper tried to smile. It came out as a grimace. "Good, that's good." Jake was at the bed now. "Ree, too. Brother, you scared us half to death. Takes more than 3 bullets to put me down. Apparently, it takes exactly 3 bullets to put you in an ICU." Reaper coughed. It sounded painful. "Moretti. Did he get away?" "For now," Jake said. "But not for long. Every cop in the state is looking for him." Reaper's eyes hardened. "He'll run, try to disappear. New name, new city. We'll find him." "No." Reaper's voice was weak, but firm. "I'll find him. When I get out of this bed, I'll finish this." Rebecca grabbed his hand again. "You need to rest. You need to heal." "I'll heal. Then I'll hunt." His eyes met hers. Something passed between them. Understanding, promise. "But first," he said, "bring me those kids. I want to see them." Rebecca smiled through her tears. "I'll bring them when you're stronger. Deal." His eyes closed. The machines beeped steadily. His breathing evened out. He was asleep again, but alive, fighting. Rebecca turned to Ray's. "Get me back to my children." They left the hospital. The morning sun was bright now, warm, the first real warmth Rebecca had felt in months. They were driving back to the safe house when Ray's phone rang. Ray's, pause. "What?" Her face went pale. Rebecca's stomach dropped. "What is it?" Ray's hung up. Her hands were shaking. "Moretti. They found him." "Where?" "The farmhouse. Our safe house." Rebecca's blood turned to ice. "My children. Torres is there. She's armed. She knows what she's doing. He has an army." We don't know that. It might just be him." "It's never just him." The farmhouse came into view. Smoke was rising from somewhere behind it. 2 cars were parked in the driveway. Neither belonged to Torres. Ray slammed the brakes. She drew her gun. "Stay in the car." "Like hell." Rebecca jumped out. She ran toward the house. "Rebecca." Ray shouted. She didn't listen. Her children were in there. Nothing else mattered. She burst through the front door. The living room was destroyed. Furniture overturned. Bullet holes in the walls. Torres lay on the floor, not moving. Rebecca screamed. "Maya! Lucas! Sophia!" A door at the back of the house was open. Cold air rushed in. Rebecca ran through it. "Stop dead!" Moretti stood in the backyard. He had Maya in one arm, Lucas in the other. Sophia was screaming, held by one of his men. "Hello, Mrs. Torres," Moretti said. "I believe you have something that belongs to me." Behind her, Reyes appeared, gun raised. Moretti laughed. "Go ahead, detective. Shoot me. Let's see if you can do it before I break these pretty little necks." Reyes hesitated. Rebecca stepped forward. "Let them go, please. I'll do anything, anything. Give me the files, every document you took from my office, and I'll let them live. The files are with the FBI. It's too late, is it? Because I have friends in the FBI. Friends who can make evidence disappear. All I need is for you to tell me exactly who has what." Rebecca's mind raced. She had to stall, had to think. Okay, I'll tell you. Just put down my children. Tell me first, Agent Rodriguez. He has the original documents. Third floor of the federal building downtown. Moretti studied her. "You're lying." "I'm not. I swear. Please, just let them go." Moretti's grip on the children tightened. They screamed, "Mommy." Rebecca's heart shattered. And then something happened. Maya bit down on Moretti's hand hard. He screamed, dropped her. Lucas kicked him in the shin. Moretti stumbled. Sophia broke free from the other man's grip, ran. Rebecca moved. She didn't think, didn't plan, just moved. She slammed into Moretti with every ounce of strength she had. They both went down. The children scrambled away. Moretti was bigger, stronger. He threw Rebecca off like she weighed nothing. He reached for the gun in his jacket. A shot rang out. Moretti's hand exploded in a spray of red. He screamed. Reyes stood 10 feet away, gun smoking. "Don't move." Moretti clutched his ruined hand. Blood poured between his fingers. His face twisted with rage and pain. "You think this is over? I have lawyers, judges, politicians. You can't touch me." Reyes walked forward. Her eyes were ice. "You're wrong. The files are already with the Attorney General. Federal indictments are being prepared as we speak. Every cop you bribed is under investigation. Every judge, every politician." She stopped in front of him. "Victor Moretti, you are under arrest for human trafficking, murder, racketeering, and about 40 other charges I'll think of on the way to prison." She handcuffed his ruined hand to his good one. He screamed again. Rebecca ran to her children. She grabbed all three, pulling them close. "It's okay. It's okay. You're safe. Mommy's here." Maya was sobbing. Lucas was shaking. Sophia couldn't stop crying. But they were alive. They were whole. Rebecca looked at Moretti, at this monster who had haunted her nightmares, who had threatened to destroy everything she loved. He looked small now, pathetic, just a bleeding man in handcuffs. "You lose," she said quietly. "You lose and we win. And you're going to spend the rest of your miserable life in a cage." Moretti spat at her feet. "This isn't over." "Yes, it is." Sirens wailed in the distance. Backup arriving. Rebecca held her children and watched as they dragged Moretti away. For the first time in 10 months, she took a deep breath and felt free. Torres was alive. The bullet had grazed her skull, knocked her unconscious. The paramedics loaded her into an ambulance. 3 weeks later, everything had changed. Moretti's trial made national news. Federal prosecutors laid out a case so airtight that even his expensive lawyers couldn't find cracks. 49 charges: human trafficking, murder, racketeering, conspiracy, corruption. Rebecca testified for 3 days straight. She told them everything. The threats, the fear, the night in the diner, the terror of watching Moretti hold her children. When she stepped down from the stand, the courtroom was silent. Moretti glared at her with pure hatred. "I'm not afraid of you anymore," she said. Not loud, not dramatic, just the truth. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Life in federal prison. No parole, no appeals, no escape. Outside the courthouse, Rebecca stood with Reyes. "You did it," Reyes said. "You took down the most dangerous trafficker in 3 states. We did it. All of us." Reyes smiled. "Those files you recovered, they led us to Maria and Elena Russo. They're alive. They're home now." Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. They're really alive. Danny's with them right now. He can't stop crying. A car pulled up. Jake behind the wheel. Reaper in the passenger seat. Rebecca's heart lifted. Reaper looked different. Still big. Still scarred. But something in his eyes had changed. The darkness was lighter now. Softer. He got out slowly. Still healing. Walked toward her. Heard you destroyed him on the stand, he said. I told the truth. That's all. Sometimes the truth is the most powerful weapon there is. Maya, Lucas, and Sophia ran to him. Uncle Marcus. He caught them. Pretended to stumble. Made them laugh. You three are getting too strong for me. Better watch out or you'll not be down for real. 2 months later, Rebecca stood in front of a small house. It wasn't much. 3 bedrooms, a small yard, peeling paint on the shutters. But it was hers. Really hers. Paid for with money from the Victims' Compensation Fund. The triplets ran through the front door laughing. I get the room with the window. No, I do. You can share. Rebecca called after them. A motorcycle rumbled down the street. Reaper pulled into the driveway. Looks good, he said. Needs work, everything. Worth having does. The triplets came running. Out. Uncle Marcus. They tackled him. He pretended to fall. Did you bring us something? Lucas asked. Reaper reached into his jacket, pulled out 3 small boxes. Inside each was a small silver pendant. A motorcycle. It's so cool. Sophia shouted. What do you say? Rebecca asked. Thank you, Uncle Marcus. They hugged him again, ran inside to show each other their gifts. Reaper walked up to the porch, stood beside Rebecca. You good? Better than good. I got a job. Start next week. What kind of job? Nursing. Same hospital where Tora's recovered. They're short-staffed and my license is still valid. That's great. You'll be good at it. They stood in comfortable silence. Ray's called me this morning, Reaper said. The network, it's completely dismantled. Over 60 people rescued. Brought home. Rebecca wiped her eyes. 60 people because of you. Because you testified. Because you made sure Moretti went down. I walked into that diner with $25. I just wanted to feed my kids. And now 60 people are free because of what you did. That's how it works. One small act, one moment of courage, it ripples out, changes everything. Like the stranger who bought you dinner 40 years ago. Reaper nodded. Exactly like that. He pulled out an envelope. I have something for you. Rebecca took it, opened it. Inside was a check. $20,000. Reaper, I can't. It's not charity. It's back pay. The club's auto shop needs an office manager. You've been doing the job for 2 months already. This is what you earned. I did that because I wanted to help. And now you're being paid for it. Fair is fair. Rebecca looked at the check, thought about what it meant. Stability, security, a future. Thank you, she said quietly, for everything. Don't thank me. Just keep showing up. Keep fighting. Keep being the mother those kids deserve. I will. Reaper headed back to his motorcycle. Same time next week. Dinner's at 6. Don't be late. Never. He rode away. Rebecca watched until he disappeared around the corner. 6 months later, Christmas Eve arrived again. Rebecca stood in the kitchen, pulling a turkey from the oven. The house smelled like warmth and spices, and everything good. The triplets were decorating the tree, arguing about where to put the angel. It goes on top. The star goes on top. Rebecca smiled. Some things never changed. A knock at the door. I'll get it. Lucas ran to the door, threw it open. Reaper stood on the porch. Behind him were Jake, Ree, and 3 other bikers, all carrying wrapped presents. Merry Christmas, Reaper said. The triplets tackled him. A Christmas tradition now. The bikers filed in, dropped presents under the tree, shook snow from their jackets. Something smells amazing, Jake said. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, the works, Rebecca said. There's enough for everyone. They sat around the dining room table. Reaper at one end, Rebecca at the other, the triplets between them, surrounded by bikers who looked terrifying, but passed the roles like gentlemen. Grace, Reaper asked, Everyone bowed their heads. Rebecca spoke. Thank you for this food. Thank you for this family. Thank you for second chances and new beginnings. Thank you for the stranger who helped us when no one else would. And thank you for bringing us all together. Amen, amen. Everyone echoed. They ate. They laughed. They remembered. Later, Rebecca found herself on the porch. The night was cold but clear. Stars everywhere. Reaper joined her. Good Christmas. The best in a long time. Kids are happy. Kids are safe. That's all that matters. They stood in silence. I got a call today, Reaper said. From Ray's, they found the last of Moretti's partners, a businessman in New York. Arrested him this morning. Whole network's gone coast to coast. Rebecca closed her eyes. How many people total? FBI estimates over 100 rescued. Returned to their families. 100. Because of what we did that night in the diner. Because you stood up when you could have stayed down. Because you fought when you could have run. The door opened. Maya poked her head out. Mommy, Uncle Marcus, we're opening presents. Coming, baby. Rebecca took Reaper's arm. They walked inside together. The living room was chaos. Wrapping paper everywhere. Kids laughing. Bikers arguing about who gave the best gifts. It was loud, messy, perfect. Rebecca sat on the couch, Maya on one side, Lucas on the other, Sophia in her lap. Reaper sat across from them, watching with a smile that reached his eyes. Mommy, Sophia said, holding up a new toy. This is the best Christmas ever. Yeah, Lucas agreed. Even better than before. Rebecca's heart clenched. But it wasn't painful this time. Just bittersweet. Your daddy would be so proud of both of you, she said. He'd be proud of all of us. That night, after the bikers had left and the triplets were asleep, Rebecca stood at her bedroom window. She thought about Daniel, about the life they had planned, the dreams that had died with him. She thought about the diner, about the $25 that had seemed like everything and nothing. She thought about Reaper, about the stranger who had become family. And she thought about the 100 people out there sleeping safely tonight because of a chain of events that started with a bowl of soup. She pulled out her phone, scrolled to a photo. Daniel smiling at the camera, the triplets on his shoulders. We made it, she whispered. I don't know how, but we made it. She kissed the screen, set the phone down. Then she walked to the triplets' room, stood in the doorway, watched them sleep, safe, warm, loved, everything she had ever wanted for them. 1 year later, on a cold December morning, Rebecca walked into Rose's diner. The place looked the same cracked vinyl booths, same flickering Christmas lights, same smell of coffee and bacon. Rosa was behind the counter, older now, grayer, but her eyes lit up when she saw Rebecca. Oh my God, it's you, Rebecca smiled. It's me. Rosa came around the counter, hugged her tight. I saw you on the news, the trial, everything. I couldn't believe it. That woman from the diner, the one with the triplets, that was me. Rose's eyes filled with tears. I think about that night all the time. When you ordered that one soup for your kids, I wanted to help. I wanted to say something, but I was scared. You didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything at all. That's the problem. Rebecca took her hand. You can do something now. What? Every year on Christmas Eve, I want to pay for someone's meal. A family in need. Someone who's struggling the way I was. I want to start a tradition here at this diner where everything changed. Rose's face changed. Hope. Understanding. I'll match whatever you give. Every year. As long as I'm alive. Thank you. They hugged again. Rebecca walked to the caller booth. The same one where she had sat with her triplets 2 years ago. The same one where she had counted her last $25. She sat down. Rosa brought her coffee. On the house. I can pay now. I know. That's why it's on the house. The door opened. Reaper walked in. Behind him, Maya, Lucas, and Sophia. Now 9 years old. Bigger. Stronger. Happier. Mommy, we found the diner. They ran to her, piled into the booth. Reaper sat across from them. His eyes met Rebecca's. You okay? I'm perfect. And she meant it. They ordered breakfast. Real breakfast, pancakes, bacon, eggs, hot chocolate with extra whipped cream. The same meal Reaper had bought them 2 years ago. The meal that had started everything. When they were done, Rebecca walked to the counter. She handed Rosa a check. $5,000. Rosa's eyes went wide. Rebecca, 4 families who need it. Every Christmas Eve. For as long as this diner exists. Rosa stared at the check, then at Rebecca. Then she burst into tears. You don't have to do this. I know. That's why I want to. Rebecca hugged her one more time. Then she walked out into the cold December morning. Reaper was waiting by his motorcycle. The triplets were already in the car arguing about what to do next. Ready? He asked. Ready? Halfway to the car. Rebecca stopped. Reaper, he turned. Thank you for everything. For that first night. For every night since. For being there when I had nothing and no one. Reaper looked at her. His ice blue eyes were warm now. Soft. You had something, Rebecca. You always did. You just needed someone to help you see it. What did I have? Strength, courage, love. The things that matter. The things money can't buy. The things no one can take away. Rebecca nodded. She understood now. That night in the diner, she had walked in with $25. She had walked out with a future. Not because of the meal. Not because of the money. Because someone had seen her. Really seen her, and chosen to help. That was the gift. That was the miracle. And now, every Christmas Eve, she would pass it on. One meal, one family, one moment of kindness rippling out forever. Rebecca climbed into her car, started the engine, pulled out of the parking lot. In the rear view mirror, she saw Reaper on his motorcycle, watching her go. He raised his hand. A wave, a salute, a promise. She waved back. Then she drove toward home. Behind her, the sun rose over Rose's diner. A new day, a new year, a new beginning. And somewhere in a corner booth, a struggling family would sit down to eat. They wouldn't know where the meal came from. They wouldn't know the story behind it. But they would feel what Rebecca had felt 2 years ago. Hope. Because that's what kindness does. It saves lives. It changes futures. It reminds us that no matter how dark the night, morning always comes, and sometimes the light we need most comes from a stranger. A stranger with scars and secrets. A stranger on a motorcycle. A stranger who looks like danger, but acts like salvation. Rebecca Torres learned that lesson on a cold Christmas Eve with $25 in her pocket and 3 hungry children at her side. She never forgot it. And she spent the rest of her life making sure others never had to learn it alone.